Welcome to this week's video. I'm here with
Gabby! Hello! Hi! How you doing?
I love how you now know what to do.
I know! I've done 3 of these guys. I'm pretty pro now.
Unlike that first video, future Emma insert clip here. I'm joined by the lovely
Gabby, I meant to say my name. But anyway, we're going to talk about the butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect. So the idea behind the butterfly effect is that a very small change can affect or change a bigger complex situation. Like, it's kind of like the chaos theory where if you drop a ball,
Very similar.
Depending on the height, the type of ball, the energy you put through the ball, it will go in 2 different directions, different heights and whatnot. And one small change will affect the outcome of this theory.
Oh yeah, okay, so what I read when I was researching the butterfly effect is, I think it was in Japan, I'm not sure about this. What they believed is if a butterfly flaps its wings at the exact time somewhere, it can cause a hurricane somewhere else, and that's why it's called the butterfly effect, because a butterfly is so small that it can affect a weather pattern. The child definition that we found online, which is not really a child definition, but this amuses me, so we're going to say. The phenomenon whereby a small change at one place in a complex system can have a large effect somewhere else. E.g., like I said, a butterfly flapping its wings in Rio de Janeiro might change the weather in Chicago.
Yeah, it was founded Edward Lawrence, I think that's how you pronounce his name, but don't quote me on this. And he was researching weather patterns and weather systems. And he noticed changes in the algorithms that cause different changes to change. And this is why weather patterns can change so quickly, is because a small variable has happened that causes a change. There was a video that I watched and I just showed you, which explains the butterfly effect very, very well.
If sat alone in one of the tilt-a-whirl carts, it would spin completely differently than if you sat in there with me, right? Together, we would be heavier and the cart would have a completely different ride. Every spin would be completely different from when I took the ride alone, and unpredictably. Now imagine all the carts as part of a system, with tiny changes to each, someone being a little lighter or heavier in a cart, someone sitting forward on the seat or with their back on the wall. All of these tiny variations affect the whole tilt-a-whirl system. That's the butterfly effect.
Example of the butterfly effect that I'm actually sure everyone has like similar stories to, or a story like it, is like how their parents met. And my mum told me a story the other day about when she was traveling Europe, and she went to Greece and she dated this guy and they got kind of serious, and he was like, hey, why don't you stay here in Greece? And my mum didn't want to stay because she wanted to go back to New Zealand with her family, obviously. So she politely declined this guy's offer and went back to London for a little bit, and she met my dad there, and it turns out she stayed for an extra year because she met my dad, and then they came back here, and then me. So if she had said yes to that guy and stayed in Greece, I wouldn't be here right now.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, that's really weird.
An example of how I edit this video is a butterfly effect.
Yeah. What?
Mum came over to New Zealand on a church trip because my church is in all different nations and continents of the world. So she came over with the people who ran the church. I don't go to this church no more, but she came over with the people who ran the church, and she was invited to join the youth tour of the South Island, which she did. And in Queenstown, her and my dad started dating. And then they did the whole long distance thing for a couple of years, and she moved out here. And then they got married and had me a year or 2 later. So if my mum never had been brought out to New Zealand, she never would have met my dad, which means I wouldn't have been here. Yeah. Which is so crazy to think about.
Yeah. So you should go home, or if you are home, go out of your room.
Yeah.
We know what
Put this
you
video
do.
down, it's fine.
And go ask your parents about how they met, or if they were with someone like before they met your mum, or before they met your dad or whatever, and they'll have a story, because everyone obviously has to have some type of...
And hopefully you don't find out you're adopted for what
Oh my god, imagine!
Butterfly effect!
Yeah, that's another, I mean,
oh gosh,
it's so true. If you're adopted, you could have been adopted by a different set of people, and it could have been good or bad.
This video could cause you to find out you're adopted, which
is
you
a
never
butterfly
would have
effect
known
within
if you had
itself.
never have watched this video, which is quite crazy. So go and ask the people who raised you.
A bad example that I have, oh not bad, but yeah. I mean there is bad examples of everything, right? Good example, bad example.
Yeah.
Bad example of the butterfly effect I have is that I had these two friends when I was 11, so in like the first year of intermediate, what's it called in America?
Oh,
Yes,
it's called junior high,
First year of junior high.
I believe.
I was friends with these two girls and they were quite like, I was very loud and popular and everything, right? Right now, in my last like years of school, I'd say like the past 5 years of school, I was not like that. I was like so quiet and I didn't talk. But I had confidence and I was friends with these two girls who were very similar. And unfortunately, they both moved away after that year. And I kind of went into myself and became super shy. This is depressing, I'm sorry, but anyway. And so butterfly effect is if they hadn't moved away, a lot would have been different. And I think that I probably would have done better. I would have gone to drama school or something.
So I have a rare bone condition, which I'm going to make a video on sometime soon. And I had surgery when I was 3. I mean, when didn't I have surgery? But I had a surgery when I was 3. But my surgeon actually backed out of the operation because it's quite a complex surgery. If he never backed out, I might not have my leg today. But on to more happier.
But that would have definitely changed
my
a lot
whole
of
life.
things.
So I had a friend, let's call her Alishma, and she was quite toxic, and I would stop talking to her and stuff because I just couldn't talk to her because it got too stressful. So I stopped being her friend, and then someone made us hug it out, and we became friends for another 4 years. And then I just stopped being her friend because I was like, you know what, I need to get on with my life, and that's what I've done. If I had have stopped being friends with her at that point and never hugged it out, I think I would not have been stressed for the last 4 years.
Which, yeah, so again, that's like another sort of bad example of the butterfly effect.
I'm using notes with this because
we're serious about this one. Serious.
In 1905, there was an 11-year-old boy called Frank Epperson. I'm not sure of the name, like pronunciation, but that sounds about right. And he had a mixed drink, and he left it out on the patio with a stick still upright inside.
Because he would have been like mixing it.
And he left it, he obviously went and played or something. And then he woke up the next morning to find it frozen. Now fast forward to 1923, and he marketed this. He had a brilliant idea. So he marketed this as the Epsicle, also known as the Popsicle.
Or if you're from England, an ice lolly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're from New Zealand, an ice block.
An ice block? Why do we do this?
It's ice and it's a block. Put it together and get an ice block.
We come up with weird names. If Frank hadn't gone and played with his friends or whatever he went to do, maybe help his mum with the dishes or something, he would have, the ice block, ice lolly, popsicle would have never been a thing.
Yeah.
And everyone eats them in summer. And I think the ice cream story, from what I recall, a story that I got told when I was a kid, is that he'd serve, this guy was an ice cream maker?
Yeah.
And he'd serve ice cream in bowls, and he'd get annoyed with people because they'd never bring back the little bowl. And he had like a waffle, like wafer, for his lunch. And he had no bowls, and he didn't know what to do when this lady came and ordered an ice cream. I think this is the story. This is probably wrong. But he put it in the waffle and gave it to the lady because he didn't have a bowl. And that's how the ice cream cone was made.
That's so cool.
So the butterfly effect really
This is great.
has an effect on ice cream treats.
This sounds really bad, but there's an episode of Lilo and Stitch where Lilo embarrasses herself in front of her crush. So she goes to Jumba in Pleakley and finds out that Jumba has built a time machine.
Obviously.
So her and Stitch go back in time and change one small thing, and it changes a whole series of events. So, like, as she goes and she puts her hand against a tree, which causes a butterfly to fly off, which lands in front of a cruise ship, which the cruise ship crashes into a building or something. So it shows how one small thing can make a series of events.
Like a butterfly, for example. And that's probably why they used a butterfly, because of the butterfly effect.
So that's that for this week's video.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Don't forget to click that like button.
Give it a thumbs up. And do a random act of kindness.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new and ding that bell for when I do more updates. Do you have any socials you want linked?
Nah, I'm good. I mean, follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll have your Twitter link down below. Go follow her. She deserves all the follows she can get.
Thank you.
Bye. Peace.